Good morning, Kray. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super stoked because today I believe that you are going to blow everybody's mind and change their lives. And
Excellent.
I, for one, I'm a huge believer. So I think this is a real. We're doing the work of the Lord right here. Just to prime you, so don't screw it up.
I'll try not to, but
Okay,
you're setting me up for success here. So
exactly. Okay, I'm going to paint a picture here because I know you're not allowed to. I'm going to talk about the stupidity of modern technology. It's about every 15 minutes where you see somebody on a YouTube pre-roll and he goes, you know what? I used to shoot my own commercials with my phone and nothing happened, and now I'm making $5 billion a month. And to prove it, he walks past his line of Ferraris in the driveway, and then he goes to his bedroom where there's like $1 million on the bed, and he says, that's $1 million on the bed, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this book that changed my life. And you're going, you're such a douchebag. And the message of all of these things is that you are such an idiot for not using shiny technology ABC today, because it's so easy and it will turn your business into a monster success. And we, perennial suckers, we buy it. So we sign up. Next thing you know, you got another SaaS program. You don't even know what you're paying that subscription fee for. It just goes out of your PayPal every month and you're sad. So Shopify, you're with Shopify. Shopify, when I first started looking into Shopify, because my wife is running an aesthetics business, she wants to sell skincare online. We said, let's go on Shopify. It's one of those super easy things, but as any entrepreneur and brand DIYer who's listening in will probably attest, the first time you go into Shopify and say, this is going to be as easy as falling out of bed, it's not. So is that sort of, is my experience fairly typical that people come in and they go, this is so easy, and then they go, it's not?
yes and no. So really, when you talk to any entrepreneur or business owner that has been successful, one of the most common phrases that you tend to hear is, it only took me 3 to 5 years to become an overnight success. And that's kind of the way things are in business.
Yeah.
People assume that it's going to be a lot easier than it is. And while Shopify is an easy to use platform, it's not as easy as add a product, turn this on, you're making sales.
Mm-hmm.
I do a presentation called If You Build It, They Won't Come. And it's all about the whole marketing and branding that you have to do to build that business up in order to get that traffic to you. Because, us older generation people will remember Field of Dreams and the wonderful movie, If You Build It, They Will Come.
Yeah.
And that's no longer the case. There is so much competition. You're competing against multi-millions of online stores. You're competing against all these apps vying for your attention, the cats, the dogs, the everything in between, plus your life. So it's super easy to get distracted. It's super easy to miss things. So we are trying to make it as easy as possible for merchants to get started, to get set up, but it's not just the platform, it's the learning resources.
Yeah. Well, I just want to, we're going to get to the learning resources in a second, but I want to tell you my own personal pet peeve: Russell Brunson ClickFunnels. I hate Russell Brunson because I bought into the whole ClickFunnel thing. I got his book. When you sign up with ClickFunnels, you sign in, you say, yeah, I'm going to download ClickFunnels. Hey, would you like this free book? Yeah, I get the book. And then you get the book, and it's a great book. I think it's called Growth Business Secrets or something Secrets. And it's a really good book. It's solid. It's not just some passive aggressive sales pitch. So I got the book and I said, for sure, I'm going into ClickFunnels. Oh, and I got a t-shirt.
Gotta love the swag.
So, for sure, you're going to be a success if you get a book and a t-shirt. So I'm in. I go to ClickFunnels and I start setting it up. And it's like one of those things when you watch a commercial where your cola is supposed to get you the girl, and then your cola doesn't get you the girl. You go, my cola must be broken. And I went into ClickFunnels and I started to set it up. And I'm like, it's a disaster. And so I actually ended up going with a contractor who built my ClickFunnels for me. It wasn't expensive, but it wasn't cheap. So then I had my funnels and everything was working, and I'm a marketer. And nothing happened. Build it and they won't come. And then I discovered that I actually have to push people to the funnel, which you never hear about.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 101, but I think we suspend disbelief to go, if I only build this thing, everything else would be solved.
Yes.
And I think that's probably, I think that modern technology does itself such a disservice, but it has to, because it's competitive. It does itself such a disservice by saying it's so easy.
Yeah.
The truth is it's hard, but nobody's going to buy your stuff if you go, hey, it's hard. I'm Honest Abe. I'm Abe Lincoln.
Yes.
So I imagine
the way I look at it is just a little bit differently, or I try to look at it a little bit differently, in that it is a lot of work, but the idea behind Shopify, we are a commerce platform. We are built from the ground up to run your business. So not just to build your website or to sell a product, to run all of it. And that's one of the biggest things, is making more free time for you, so you don't have to spend all your time doing all these extra little things. Try and do as much as you can in one area and get things done. If you're running everything yourself, every minute counts, and every minute that you're doing something that you could be spending on something else could affect your business long term. So it's not just about being easy. It's also, like I said, about having those learning resources available, and it being built in a way that facilitates that ease of use. Not just, it's easy once you know how, because everything is easy once you know how, right? So
okay, you got a hotline to the people at Shopify. I think the next campaign should be, Shopify is like Buckley's. It tastes lousy, but it works. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. So now I've got that off my chest. I feel much better. I'll send you my check, because you're now my personal therapist. So now we get into the next thing. My wife is trying to set up a Shopify business. She runs aesthetics company. She wants to sell skincare online, and she just crashes and burns. And I'm looking at it and going, I wish I could help you. I don't understand anything. And I should, but then I work at a co-work space down in downtown Victoria, and I meet this lady named Nikki Thibodeau. And I call up Nikki because I hear she's connected with Shopify somehow, some way. I don't quite know what she does. And I call her up and I said, Nikki, me and my wife and her sister, we're trying to set this thing up. It's a disaster. She goes, hold on, I'll help out. And I go, well, how much is it going to cost? She goes, it's not going to cost you. I'm like, what? And it's true. Nikki swooped in and she gave my wife and her sister these tutorials. Every week they'd come in, she'd give them homework and they would do it. She'd give them homework, they'd do it, they'd meet. And she was so good. And she was like such a good pep talker. Like she said, you're almost there, you're getting there. And then towards the end, she goes, man, this is really something, because a lot of people give up because I think we buy the myth that it's done. And she said, it does take some work and stuff. And she got them through it, and they've got a successful Shopify business. And I got to tell you, there is something about sitting at home and watching TV and your phone goes bing or cha-ching, and somebody just bought something off your Shopify site. It's so cool.
It's an amazing feeling,
I know.
Especially when it goes off more than once on the same day, and you just launch. It's like, what's happening? What's happening?
I know, it is so cool. So I'm a huge fan of Shopify. I'm a huge fan of Nikki Thibodeau. Fast forward, I'm working with a client, the Port Moody Refillery. We're rebranding them, and they've got a Shopify site, and they want to find out, somebody buys something from me, how do I put it in a box and send it? And what, how, where, what? And Nikki says, I'm busy.
Options.
Yeah, what do I do? And these are totally normal questions. And it's funny because they're really hard questions if you don't know the answer. And Nikki's busy, and she says, you got to talk to Kray. And so you talk to them, and they get on a Zoom call. I got to tell you this. They get on a Zoom call with me after your session with them, and they go, that was incredible. Kray is like so smart. I didn't know. We set up our site and they just sent us to these tutorials. I had no idea I could talk to Kray.
I'm very happy to have been able to talk to them as well. So,
but that's why we're here right now, because brand DIYers, if you're pissed off because you're stuck on Shopify, Kray is here. So Kray, tell me what you do. What is it that you do?
So I am part of the Shopify local team, and we are a bit of a newer and smaller team. We've only been around a bit of a year, about a year, and naturally 2020 threw a wrench in a lot of what we were planning and strategizing about growing and scaling into other cities. We're across Canada and kind of across the world right now in 13 different cities. Nikki was previously working in my role. She's now one of our leads for our team. So what our team does is we're basically small business coaches and consultants. We work with you to understand the things that you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And we understand that helping businesses grow and scale and do everything faster with better understanding is just going to help everybody in the long run. It's going to help the merchant. It's going to help us long-term as well, because the more money you make as a merchant on our platform, the more money we make. So it's in our best interest to make sure that you can start, grow, and scale your business. It's such a fantastic job because I get to work not only one-on-one with merchants, but we put on events as well. And depending on the city and the community manager, there's different events throughout the year. Like I said, we're in Canada, so we're in Calgary, Hamilton, I'm in Kelowna myself, Kingston, Kitchener-Waterloo, London, Ottawa. We're across the sea to sky corridor and in Vancouver, Toronto, and we're also, like I said, across the world. We've got people in Auckland, New Zealand. We've got people in Stockholm. We've got people in Boston, and we've got people in LA, and now in Austin, Texas is a new one as well. So we are trying to grow and scale this program, but in the last 6 months, obviously COVID and just keeping things up and making sure that the merchants that need us right now to keep their businesses going have access to us. So we're just trying to figure out our 2021 and what we're going to be doing.
I got to tell you, man, because I have a lot of technology that's working for me, some better than others. And I look at the experience that my friends at Port Moody Refillery and my wife had with Nikki and with yourself. And I go, this is what's missing. This is such a huge differentiator. And Shopify has kept it, as far as I know, fairly hush-hush up to this point. But this, when you sign on with anything, Google, a new SaaS app, getting help, everybody falls down. And it's so hard. And when we found out that Nikki was free, because as she said, Shopify only makes money if you're making money. So it's in my interest to get you making money as quick as possible. We're like, oh.
And that's not the only thing. One of our goals as well is not just to help Shopify entrepreneurs. We just want to help entrepreneurs in general. We want to take the path that leads to more entrepreneurs. Shopify is very aware that particularly local and small business economies are a huge part of any locality. And as these small businesses start to or continue to disappear in favor of large conglomerates, less and less of that money is being reinvested in the local economy. So the more we can help people in our general areas become the entrepreneurs that they want to be, the better it is. Not just for us, even if they're not going to be on our platform, we're still helping our locals become those entrepreneurs, to take on the Walmarts of the world, to let people know that local is the way to go. We're the people that, the person that you're buying from is probably the same person that's at the soccer match with your kids. These people are your neighbors, they're your friends, they're your family, and they deserve your money more than Walmart does. Like a family that makes literally $10,000 a minute, they have no worries in life anymore other than what's their stock price doing.
You need Shopify t-shirts, man. You need Che Guevara shirts. You need Fight the Walmart. Because it's true. It's a million little roots in your community, Yes. None of them are these towering trees, but they're a million roots, and that's what keeps the soil from blowing away. That's what keeps your town from blowing away, is having people on down Main Street and out of their bedroom office and stuff like that, selling stuff. Plus it makes the world a better place because it's more colorful. The world is a drab place if it's Walmart,
It really is. And a lot of people say that retail is dead, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Big box retail is kind of dead, and that's why big box stores are closing down. But the niche markets, those are what are thriving, and those are those small businesses that you're supporting locally or tend to be supporting locally. But of course, thanks to COVID, a lot more people are online, which makes these small businesses able to scale even more, because now they're not just dealing in Kelowna or Calgary or Ottawa or wherever they are. They can ship all across Canada, or potentially into the UK and into the United States. So just giving more people the ability to grow and scale and continue on with their business, so they can continue on with their lives.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Top 3 problems. People call you, Kray. What are the top 3 problems, so that anybody on BrandDIY knows, oh, I had that problem. Top 3 problems that people bring you.
Oh man, I'd say one of the biggest ones that I always get asked about is SEO. Well, what is SEO? How does it work? Like, should I be doing it? Should I concentrate on it? Absolutely. SEO is your long-term strategy on driving people to your website, and you do that through content and keywords. And being able to do that in a way that continues to drive traffic can be difficult. So it's really important to understand who your target audience is. That's one of the first questions I asked almost any merchants I work with, is who's your target audience? And a lot of the time they either say, I don't know, or everybody. And neither of those are acceptable answers, because even if everybody is your target audience, if you have a product that will sell to 18-year-olds and 65-year-olds, you can't sell to them in the same way.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old and a 65-year-old, they live completely different lives. They talk in different ways. They go to different places. And, having your SEO targeted to the proper demographics that you're going after will really help you grow and scale quickly, as opposed to all over the place. I like to use a hunting analogy. I'm not a hunter myself, but I know about firearms. And you can't hunt with a shotgun, because when a shotgun goes off, it sprays. Yeah, you might take home some meat, but it's not going to be the deer that you wanted to bag. You need a rifle and a scope, and you need to really hit that target to take it down. And marketing and SEO is the same way these days. If you don't know truly who the people at the top of your funnel are, that low-hanging fruit that's going to buy the most from you, hit those. Like, that's where you need to start, and then work down that funnel into the harder to get categories. Because if you start with the harder people, you're going to be putting in so much more work trying to get those first sales and those repeat customers. Go after that low-hanging fruit, so your SEO can really help drive that once you understand the audience.
Can you help people with SEO?
I can, yes.
Okay, so
any of these Shopify local people can help with this.
Okay, so that is under the purview of Shopify. Awesome. Okay, so that's the first thing.
We'll provide guidance for you. We can't help do it, but we'll provide guidance on the right ways to do it, and things that you should be looking into to help you.
Well, that's the BrandDIY attitude, right? Take control of your own thing. If you teach me how to fish, then I feel a lot better about myself. I feel not as scared. I don't have to reach out to Kray every time a red light goes off.
Yes. And just quickly, our support team in general can start to answer some of these questions too, because that's been a big focus for us as well. Is when you call support, it's not just, oh, I've got a technical problem. If you've got something that you want to ask about SEO or marketing or something like that, definitely ask, because if they don't have that resource at hand, they can still follow up with you after via email and be like, hey, here's a great resource for you. So we're really trying to give customers or our merchants the ability to ask anywhere. And we do know that our support is a little slow these days. Unfortunately, 2020, too many people. We are trying to get more support people to help and ease that up. We don't want people waiting long times to talk to us. So,
well, the nice thing is with BrandDIY, everybody knows you.
Yes.
Not saying, just saying. Folks, we got a hotline here. We got a hotline. You can skip to the front of the line.
Shopify.com.
It's better than skipping the line on the vaccine. You're skipping the line to Kray. So if you don't take advantage of this,
and the donuts.
Exactly. If this doesn't help you, I can't help you. All right. First question, SEO. Second question. What's the second big question they come to you with?
What resources do you have that I can follow up and do stuff myself? And that's a huge one, because we have a lot of different resources. And I'll be honest, when I first started with Shopify, things like our blog and stuff, they were okay, but they didn't really provide a lot of really good, useful information that was actionable for a lot of merchants. And then we really changed that. And our blog has lots of really amazing content for people just starting out, people already running a business, people running a an enterprise level business, our Plus blog is specific to that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, we also have ShopifyCompass.com. And this is our learning portal. If you ever watched one of our Shopify Academy courses, Shopify Academy has been rolled into Shopify Compass. So in Compass, we've got courses, we've got little tutorials, so like little 2-minute videos and little blog posts. We've got webinars, both live and pre-recorded, and we've even got case studies on different businesses. So you can go in there and learn at your own pace and go into different courses and take just the sections you want if you want. You don't have to start at the beginning. And it's not just Shopify staff teaching you. It is big merchant, like actual merchants of ours that we have worked with. So Ezra Firestone, a well-known name in the e-commerce industry, teaches the Facebook courses on there. And he gives you actual examples from his own business and tips and tricks that he uses to go forth. We've got a couple new ones, how to brand and sell a winning product with Mike D. So Mike D is the guy that created that wicked barbecue sauce and got a lot of coverage for it. So he's the one teaching that course. We also just released one, Finding Market Fit, why it matters and how to grow profitability. So this is a 8-lesson, 34-minute course where you can just come in and learn at your own pace. And then, like I said, you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
You know what? I've got, I used to teach university marketing. And personally, I think university, except for a select few professions, is absolutely a waste of time and money. But I look at what you're doing and I go, you know what? A kid, 18, 19 years old, digs into this thing and becomes, like, you can become incredibly competent if you take the time. Now, personally, don't have the bandwidth or the patience to do that. That's why I've got Kray, folks. We've got Kray right there. But if you have a little bit of time and a little bit of patience and you're willing to noodle around and you're wired that way. A lot of people aren't wired like me. I just go, no, make the hurt stop. But a lot of people are like, interesting. You know, yes. Entrepreneurs are naturally curious, most of them.
Yes. And you don't have to do it yourself because there are tons of Facebook groups. There's the Shopify forums. We have a forum that you can come on there and talk to people all over the world. So
smart.
But Facebook and Reddit and basically any social platform, there are going to be different groups and stuff of people on Shopify. And I highly recommend going in and just talking and asking questions to people because you never know what's going to come out of those connections. Yeah. Because you may be really awesome at the building the store and getting things in there, but you really don't like and don't enjoy and can't get done the SEO and the marketing side. But this guy you met over here, that's his jam. And he's looking for somebody to work together to build a business.
It's awesome.
Boom. You've just done that. And we've seen that happen.
Forums are so flippin' awesome. I love forums. And the nice thing is too, is that you don't feel like it's a passive aggressive sales pitch. It's just people genuinely interested in hanging out and helping each other and learning something along the way. And it's not like an FAQ. Did these 6 articles help you? And a forum, you get in there and you're going to get how to do SEO, but you'll also get a couple of little sneaky tricks. And, that's
everybody discussing what they do.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. Okay, third question. What's the third question, big one that they ask you? Because I imagine the third big question that they would ask you is, how much does it cost? Which we asked.
That is a question that I get quite often, which is nothing.
I know.
But I'd say one of the bigger ones is around driving traffic. How do I drive traffic to my store? But that also goes back to who's your target audience? Because again, 20 years ago, when you did marketing, it was a lot easier because you only really had 3 avenues. You put an ad in the paper, put an ad on TV, put an ad on the radio. That's it. And if your marketing kind of aligned with that audience, you'd start getting traffic. Mm-hmm. But again, you're competing against so many different things these days that you can't really take that process anymore. So understanding who it is will dictate how you're going to market. Because again, if you're trying to market to the 65-year-old, but you're doing it on TikTok, you're not going to go anywhere. You're talking to the wrong person it's getting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And knowing that target audience will help you drive that traffic. And then it's all about that marketing funnel and which part of the funnel you're targeting. Because a lot of businesses tend to focus just on the conversions. But the problem is, if people don't have awareness, they have no consideration, then they're less likely to get to the conversion. And then after the fact, if you don't have the loyalty and the happy customers, they don't talk about it, they don't get you more awareness, you're spending more money on your conversions than you need to.
Now, I find this, I could talk about this all day long because, you just, listed all the sections of the funnel and you just pop them off, awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, all the sale, loyalty, converting other friends, et cetera, et cetera. And you just said, if you don't have these, then the machine is broken. The first reaction is, oh, shit, I totally forgot, because I think it's easy when you read it in a book, and I teach this stuff, or I taught it, doing it myself. I'm constantly surprised by how shitty I am at it. Thinking through all the things. The second part is, all right, so awareness, consideration, what do I do? Because what it does every time you find something out, it raises 10 new questions. So I think Shopify is such an awesome resource because it doesn't just go, yeah, you have to think about awareness and consideration too. Bye. Which is the worst.
Talk to somebody like me and I'll point you to the right resources to actually help with that stuff.
Yeah.
Another big thing that I want to mention, I did an AMA with Google last year around SEO, but he said something that applies to not just SEO, it applies to basically everything we do in terms of selling. And that is, stop focusing so much on the metrics and focus on the end user, the consumer, the person that's going to buy. The more you focus on them and making them happy, getting them what they need, then the metrics tend to follow because you're doing what needs to be done to please.
Yeah, happy people buy stuff.
Exactly.
And they tell their friends, oh man, I just got out of a meeting with this.
Yeah.
Literally, I just got out of a meeting.
Exactly. So when you start focusing on that and less on how is this going to convert my metrics, you're starting to focus on this funnel piece without even realizing it. Because now you're like, hey, what information do they need to understand what my product is and who I am? Awareness and consideration. Now, how do I get them to actually buy that? Okay, that's that conversion. And then, oh, now how do I make them a good customer? Oh, I give that awesome customer service.
Yeah.
My side hustle, I sell magic tricks, and only in Canada, TrickyFingers.ca. But my entire strategy was based on SEO. I spent 2 months before I launched just working and researching on SEO and how people search magic tricks and all that kind of stuff to make sure that I launched with the best possible capabilities, particularly
TrickyFingers.ca.
What's that?
TrickyFingers.ca.
TrickyFingers.ca. And it's a small niche. And really, I only have about 4 or 5 main competitors in Canada, but those competitors have also been around a lot longer than I have, at least 10 years. I've been around. I launched November 1st, 2018. I did $13,500 in sales last year. I spent $80 in marketing. That's it. The rest was SEO and customer service. I don't have a blog. I don't participate very often in social media. I don't have the time, but I love magic. I love curating these products for people. I love that customer service. The main reason I got back into running a magic shop was because I got back into magic. And when I went to look for tricks online, the user experience was terrible. The mobile experience was pretty much non-existent. The user experience of finding stuff wasn't there. I'm like, I can do this better. So I decided to give it a try. So 2 years in, year over year, I went up 97% in sales.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm booking you again because we have 2 things. We have the BrandDIY Expert Series. That's what we're doing today. But we also have the Entrepreneur Hot Seat, where we put an entrepreneur from BrandDIY in the hot seat and we figure out about their business. If they have a challenge, we help them fix it. But with you, I want TrickyFingers.ca. I think it's going to be the #1 hit in the Entrepreneur Hot Seat. So I'm going to, after this show, I'm going to book you, and it'll be later in this month or March or something like that. But it'll be huge. I gotta let you go now. I got to be mindful of the time. Everybody's got to log off. But this has been so helpful. Folks, remember Kray, who's going to be hyperlinked in the show notes. You can reach out to him. with your Shopify questions. If he can't help you, he can point you in the right direction. He's also good for a magic trick or two. We'll watch out for him on the Entrepreneur Hot Seat. Kray, thank you so much for taking this time. It has been mind-bending. I love it. Thanks for having me. You're doing the Lord's work, man.
And yes, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope it was useful. And yeah, ShopifyKelowna.com is my main site to get in. And
fight the Walmart for you. Fight the Walmart, man. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.